Ethan rang the bell in December.
Got his port out in January.
Yeah, he got his port out in January of 2024. And then October of 2024, Austin was starting to come, well, leading up to that, even in the summer, he looked pale to me. So, of course, I was like, Austin looks pale.
Yeah, and Julie now is very on edge, like blood work right away. Get it done.
Why wait?
Yeah, exactly. And
I'm going to be neurotic.
Yeah, let's get to the doctor right away.
Yeah.
Get tests done, and the blood came back fine.
Yeah. So we went in the summer, and I had the blood work done, and everything looked fine.
And the doctor was wanting to say maybe a
vitamin D.
deficiency.
The vitamin D was low.
Get him on a vitamin D supplement.
And so we went through the summer, and then he just started complaining of his upper back.
Yeah, his shoulders were hurting, his back was hurting.
Complaining. And so we were like, he sits at his computer a lot, on his YouTube channel stuff and playing, and he's growing. Yeah. So we kind of just kept chalking it up to that. So we're kind of like, well, maybe we need to take him to a chiropractor.
Yeah, and coming back from Ethan, we're naive. When it comes to cancer, we're like, oh, well, the blood came back fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, doctors are saying, it's just vitamin D deficient. So it just goes to show you need to do your due diligence as a parent. Even if the doctor tells you no, you need to be the one that needs to listen to what
your kids
you're feeling about
you
your
or
kids.
your kids.
If something doesn't feel right, you know best.
So what would you have done differently in that moment? Second opinion?
I think.
I don't know, because we were in the hospital for.
Knowing now what we didn't know then, we probably would have done our own body scan, look over his body. I know this is uncomfortable, son, but this is what we need to do. Yeah. Because that's what it ended up coming down to, was a mass in his chest.
I know, but that didn't come. I don't think that was there. That didn't come up until the time when we found it.
Yeah.
So you're talking August. August is when, he's looking pale. It wasn't until October when, he's complaining. And then, so I was like, okay, we got another appointment.
Was it September, right? Or no, I guess
it was October.
Early October.
Yeah. We got another appointment because I was like, okay, let's just go back in. Mm-hmm. And didn't get in until Tuesday.
And he had this horrific cough now.
Yeah.
It sounded like he was a smoker.
Yeah.
He
had a cold.
So juicy, nasty.
Yeah, he had a cold that the cough just didn't go away. And so he had an appointment on Tuesday. My sister had come in because during this time my dad had a massive stroke. So my sister had come in to visit, and Austin had woken up, and he's like, gosh, I feel like I have a bruise on my chest. And I'm like, and we're driving to pick up my sister from the airport, and I'm like, well, have you looked? And he's like, no. And so we pick up my sister and we go to visit my dad, and I'm like thinking, how when you sleep, and so I was like, well, let me just pull your arm and kind of push here, to kind of stretch you. Yeah. And I went to go touch his chest, and I'm like, oh, Austin, and I go and look, and he's got this lump, just on his chest, a huge lump. And so I'm like, let me look, and it's just huge.
Yeah, almost like somebody hit him with a baseball bat, and it's just got this cartoon
a tumor
bump coming out of his chest.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, something's not right. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, well, we have a doctor's appointment for you tomorrow. We're going, for sure we're going. And so, again, it was not with our pediatrician. What the heck? Mm-hmm. I'm like, she's never available. She's got PTSD now. She's like, I don't know what's up, but I can never be there when you guys are coming. But, so went in and told the lady, obviously, our background, and she's just listening to everything, talking about his cough, obviously seeing his lump, and she's just like, I'm sending you for x-rays. Mm-hmm. And we're like, okay. And so that we went to get x-rays at 2:00 and took him home. Darin gets home from work. We're going to go run to Costco over here in Queen Creek, driving in front of Whataburger. Nothing against Whataburger, but we don't eat there. And we get the phone call from the doctors, and they're like,
she said, where are you right now?
Where are you right now?
And that's a good way to start.
Yeah.
When asked, that's not a normal
First off, when they call you right back the same
asked.
day, that's never good.
Yeah. She said, "Oh, can you pull over?"
She's like, "Are you driving?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Can you pull over?" And I'm like, "That good, huh?" And she's like, "I'm sorry." And I'm like, "This can't be happening again." And she's like, "I talked to Dr. Akepsky and it's not good." She's like, "You need to go home and get Austin and you guys need to go to the hospital." And I was like, "This cannot be happening again."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What's the odds this?"
Yeah.
So back to the hospital we went. We went home and got Austin and we were like, "We need to go to the hospital." He was sleeping.
So Ethan's 4 years into his.
Ethan's almost a year out, 8
Yeah.
months or 10 months out of his treatment.
Yeah, 10 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you calling me
Yeah.
and just said, "Janine, like God wouldn't let this happen again,
Yeah.
right?"
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
And I was like, we all just were like, we're going to pray.
Yeah.
And that was a journey because it took them a long time to
Yeah.
give an official diagnosis
Yeah.
with Austin.
Yeah, the x-rays showed like these fluffy things in his lungs.
Yeah. She was like, there was like mass, like all in his lungs.
Yeah. But they said that could be viral as well. So we're going to test them for West Nile. We're going to test them for tuberculosis. We're going to test them for, obviously, COVID again. All these different things, bronchitis.
Yeah. They had
tons
us,
of tests.
they had us like in the infectious disease section.
In
like,
a vacuum room.
yeah, literally. Like they had to like put on their like plastic wear whenever they'd come in the room. Like
Yeah.
you could, at least we heard when they were coming
Yeah,
in because
yeah.
they were getting all like, and we were there for a week. And we had the same oncology team. I mean, they know us. They're all our family.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, what are you doing back
So
here?
it's all the same people.
all the same doctors.
Yeah.
I mean,
some of the nurses had moved on to different departments,
Yeah.
but the doctors were all the same.
yeah. And so it was Dr. Angulo that was on call when we first got there. And so he was very like, "I really don't feel like this is cancer. I really feel like this has got to be some kind of
Go ahead.
infectious disease." And, he was just like, we're going to test for everything. And I mean, he felt very,
I think
positive
he
at the
was probably
beginning.
thinking, what's the chance
Yeah.
that this family's
Yeah.
going to have
Right.
two kids? There's
Yeah.
no way this is
Right.
going
Well,
to be cancer again.
I remember reading once one in 4 men will have cancer of some sort in their life. You have 4 boys and 2 of them now. It's just
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's twice the statistics there, I guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah,
They just
it was
kept
funny
doing-
because we were talking to, I think, I don't remember what doctor it was, but this is after we found out, we'll go back to all the testing, but we were like, what's the chance that we have 2 kids with cancer? Like, should we go play the lottery? And he's like, no, you will not win.
Yeah. You guys have
He's like,
bad
you don't
luck.
have good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So days of being there of, test after test, they did biopsies because they wanted to do the biopsy of what was going on in the lung area and then also in the lymph node because they were enlarged. And
CT scan,
which
MRI.
that got screwed up because they did the order for it to be done at the same time, but they didn't. And so they did the biopsy in lung and then they didn't do the one of the lymph nodes, so which they were so upset. So then he had to be put under twice
Yeah,
to
they
do
had a
2
whole
separate.
board meeting about
Yeah,
that.
which
They were not happy.
They were not happy. Which he enjoyed it. He was like, "I love it. I'll go under again." And he felt great on that.
Well, and the difference between Austin and Ethan was completely out of it when he was diagnosed. He was not in any shape that you'd want to call your kid being good,
Yeah.
in good shape.
Yeah.
Austin was feeling great.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh my gosh, I love this." We're like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
if
You
this
have
turns out to be cancer,
yeah.
you don't know
You have
what's
no
coming."
idea what's
Right.
coming.
Because
Right.
all he's got is this mess. He doesn't,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have any other symptoms besides his backache. So
Yeah,
And how old is he now? Or was he at this time?
he was 15.
yeah.
So he thinks this is cool. Like I just have my mom and dad, like full on
I
attention
know.
from mom and dad.
Let's play another board game.
We're gonna play games and have pizza, and we're at the hospital. This is great. And so he was having a good old time until it wasn't
until the
so great.
biopsies came back. They couldn't figure out what was going on. They didn't want to release us because the TB test still hadn't come back, and they're like, "That's not going to be a good look for the hospital if we
Right.
release somebody with TB."
Right.
Yeah,
They're like, chance of it being TB is very slim because
Yeah.
that's usually it's almost like a prison disease.
Yeah.
That's usually where you see it in jails and
Yeah.
prisons. It usually occurs. So they're like, chances are pretty low. we're gonna take the chance and release you guys. So we were back home for 1 day, 2 days. I forget what it was when they called us back.
No, they got the results because then they ended up doing, remember, underneath the skin that would bubble up or whatever, and it would show. And so they
Oh, from the skin one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the
so,
skin one. Yeah, that's right. That came back
yeah,
negative,
because
but
they
they still
weren't-
hadn't had.
yeah, because they weren't going to
results.
release us until that came
Yeah.
back, and that came back, which, you know, who prays for an infectious disease,
Mm-hmm.
but we were,
Right.
but they all kept coming back negative, so that you're like,
I remember. Yeah.
so, so Dr. Angulo, who was on call when we first got there, he leaves, and now Dr. Torkelson, which we love them all, we love you all, who was
He
now
was
is
the one who
he's
gave
now
us the bad news.
he's now coming on, and so Dr. Angulo is telling us, okay, now I'm leaving from being on call. Now Dr. Torkelson's coming on, and I was like,
Julie lost it.
I lost
She's
it.
like, I already know what's going to happen.
I said, no, he can't come on because he can't tell me another one of my kids is going to have cancer. And he goes, he's not going to. He's not going to. And so he came on, and so we left. And then the next day we got the phone call from Dr. Reddy, and he goes, Mom, I'm sorry to tell you, but Austin has Hodgkin's lymphoma. And he goes, so we need you guys to come into the office today. And so we came in, and like everyone's just coming up and hugging us and they're crying. I mean, everybody can't believe it. And then Dr. Torkelson comes in, and he comes over to us, and I said, you lied. And he goes, why do you think I didn't call you this morning? I had Dr. Reddy call you guys. He goes, because I didn't want to tell you. And so, but they've all been great. And yeah, Dr. Reddy, he said, I've never, in all the years, I've never had two siblings with two different kinds of cancers. Never.
Yeah, one of our nurses, she said she had experienced it in a mother and son, I think.
Yeah.
But two different cancers. Mm-hmm. Because usually what'll happen is some cancers are hereditary. Mm-hmm. So that's, usually it'll be the same cancer passed down. Mm-hmm. But this was different, where it's like, the studies don't show there's a link between, from what the doctors told us, that there's a link between Hodgkin's lymphoma and leukemia. So
So I'm assuming by now you're thinking, okay,
Yeah.
who else could have it or might have it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They
you
did
Genetic
testing.
They took both the boys' blood because they were going to start there. If there's a link there, then they're going to test the parents
And they'll test the other boys.
and the kids.
Yeah. But there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing.
No genetic link.
What was it? Because it's very different cancers, different treatment, different
Yeah.
length of time. How was it different going through it with Austin at 15 versus Ethan at 8, 9?
It was different. It was
Austin's was intense the whole time.
yeah. Austin's
Whereas
was
I feel
only
like Ethan got reprieves.
yeah. Austin's was only 6 months, but it was intense. He had like 5 cycles of chemo, but each cycle he was in the hospital. So he had
They were all not all, but those ones were inpatient.
yeah, they were all inpatient, and
all of Ethan's were outpatient unless his blood counts were low. Then he would have to go in to get a blood transfusion. That's automatic overnight stay.
yeah, but he only had like two of the long
Yeah.
hospital stays. But Austin's were all inpatient, so he had to stay for at least 3 nights, and except like the initial,
And it
ones.
was like a very aggressive treatment.
Yeah, he had like
So it was like brutal.
oh yeah, he had like 8 to 9 chemos during those stays at the hospital, and then he just felt really like dirt.
After the first or second one, I think he realized I need to eat a lot on the day they're going to give it to me because I'm going to be out
Yeah,
the
and
next
then-
couple of days.
And then he just didn't eat,
Yeah.
and then he just felt horrible, and then he realized this is not fun anymore.
I think it was. I think after the second one for sure that he realized. Probably a little bit after the first 2, but the second one I feel like was the hardest for him.
Because he ended up in the hospital after that because he was
Yeah.
so sick. And then with his, like after the day after we get home from the hospital, then I had to give him a shot because his counts were so tanked. So the shot would take all of his like white blood count and like just help like the fighters because he just didn't have any. Otherwise, he would just really end up back in the hospital.
Yeah, the shot somehow does something with your bone marrow to
Yeah.
force it to create more white blood
White
cells.
blood
or
cells,
something.
yeah.
Some ridiculously expensive shot that
Yeah.
thank God insurance covered.
Yeah.
It's like well, we know it's at least $10,000 for the one shot because
Yeah.
Wow.
that would have been the 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I remember with Austin, it was like very emotionally hard for him. Like
Yeah.
he did struggle.
I mean, he pretty much missed his whole freshman year of school. I mean, he didn't go back after fall break. And then just being, you know, a
Older.
teenager, a 15-year-old.
That was probably one of the hardest things for him too, because he's kind of he's our scholar. He definitely prides himself on his grades, and that was one of the hardest things for him. Is like, I'm not going to be able to go to school. Like, I can go to school still.
So I'm sure he wasn't even touching homework and stuff, right?
No, it was very hard to. Luckily, we have a friend who was his home
Homebound,
teacher. She
yeah.
would come to our house, but still, it was very hard for him because with chemo you get brain fog.
Yeah.
And-
It's hard to focus.
Yeah, everything's screwed up in
And
your
he
brain.
just feels like crap, and he's tired. And
Yeah, he just wants to sleep all the time.
Well, it's, you know, I always thought it was crazy how they're putting this chemical in their body, and the nurses are coming in with hazmat suits on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's just crazy
Yeah.
to think about.
yeah,
know.
and they're literally pumping him full of poison.
I know you're thinking, how did they even discover that this works?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. How did we come to this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for Austin, after all of his chemo, then he had to go to the Mayo Clinic, and he had to have 14 days straight of radiation, which Ethan had no radiation.